Hidden bitter smile, I stirred up by the media. Secret side, I wanna know, it's so mysterious. Even that elusive side, but I forgot to dare ya. Complete and perfect, all you say is a bunch of lies. Dear Miss Genius, idol unmatched. What did you eat today? What book do you love? Whenever you go out for fun, tell me where do you go? Haven't eaten anything, it's a secret unknown. Any questions you're facing, always acting so vaguely. So I'm concerned, although you brightly glow and seemingly unveiled secrets are as sweet as honey. Confusing why, extension lie. So what is your type of guy? Any partner? So now answer this.
Ladies and gentlemen, aspiring cuttlefish mains all! Oh, and people who said I can't do it. But anyway, I have been working on this for 2 years. It's a very, very important build because I technically have wanted to main this frame since I've seen the artwork years ago, before she came out. And that's kind of sort of why she kind of sort of became a hate pick. But I will show you that video that explains a little bit deeper right on the cards below, above, whatever. I'm excited. So, can this do level cap? No, it cannot. It is not designed to level cap. It's actually just designed to do anything she wants you to. Level cap is specifically a very, very specific build that's meant to do level cap, and that's about it. You take a level cap build into anything else, and you're probably going to run into a lot of issues. Not against it or anything, it's just that it shouldn't be the benchmark for a frame that isn't supposed to have a very, very specific setup that you can't make with a pure build. Even though there is Gloom on here, it's literally just supposed to do everything, but not level cap. Alright, so what is the secret to this build? Basically, Sevagoth has a bug where, unfortunately, this Gloom does have a bit of an issue where you kinda do have to hop off the board and then hit something. It's a Sevagoth bug, not necessarily a YARELI bug. It actually works with Titania, Grendel, and Sevagoth himself, actually. He's supposed to be able to drop down Gauss's thing, Gauss's thing, and be able to heal himself as you're waiting, but in actuality, that's kind of like not what happens. So, yeah, it's a Sevagoth bug. Unfortunate. So why Gloom specifically? Specifically, YARELI's biggest strength is actually technically her biggest weakness as well, which is Maraluna. Keep in mind, Maraluna is going to get gutted in a little bit, probably next year, due to the fact that this year there is no bug fixes planned. But according to some insider stuff, which I have very much have been spreading around a little bit, I'll probably not get into too many details, but essentially, the people who made her, being DE and Megan specifically, decided that they kind of learned their lesson with her situation, and what they decided to do was essentially make it to where they gut Maraluna eventually and put in a new code. Legitimately, it's the only thing that's wrong with her now because everything else is working in so well. Gloom specifically is supposed to basically keep Maraluna alive, TLDR. And the best way to do that, in actuality, is to have your razor blades out, or aqua blades out. Make sure that you're able to like run through people too, because one of the mechanics that one of the mechanics that most people do not talk about is the fact that if you jump into the air, you actually do have a little bit of damage reduction and some evasion. Another thing is this: they have to aim at YARELI's leg areas, and she's very, very thin. A shotgun blast might hit her with 3 or 4 pellets if you're around 5 meters away. So in actuality, because she's so thin and she's going sideways, it's actually best to go side to side in order to trigger her passive, so you can still aim pretty well. You can stop completely, but it is going to take about 2 seconds before it disappears, which I'd rather just wiggle. Now, let's talk about the abilities, how you're supposed to use them. The first ability is her Sea snares. Sea snares at this very amount of strength triples the damage that she does. So every single time you see an Eximus that just doesn't look right, hit him with the sea snares, and then blast him in the face. It's damage vulnerability, so that means you actually will get triple the damage no matter what, including on Bane mods. It's different. So, you can actually one-shot an Acolyte if you use the right weapon, strictly through bubbles that usually would just take out the shields. Maraluna is the biggest thing that she kind of has to have. The reason for this is that it is her natural damage reduction. It's pretty good of a damage reduction, but the thing is that it is a separate NPC, which, honestly, that's basically why you gotta make sure you keep her alive. If you don't have Gloom, I would suggest the augment being Maraluna Guardian. Maraluna Guardian is super good. You just gotta make sure that Maraluna is damaged first before you activate it, which honestly, the fire rate and reload buff is really good, and you're constantly gonna be shot at anyway, so there's no use using the what was that called? I think it was Combat Discipline. Yes, Combat Discipline. Not really much need for that. Haraka Blades do a lot of damage, but they're more of a utility due to the fact that normal enemies will get knocked back, due to the fact that it is something that knocks them back, and the Gloom will keep them slow. Another thing is this. Usually, if you're going to go with a status weapon, you'll be doing viral to them. So you're basically going through their armor if you ever decide to go against Rainier and have a hard time building a weapon. But keep in mind, this is a weapons platform build, so in actuality you have to make sure you know how to build a weapon that is secondary. And I will put a little bit of a thingy up here on the right hand side on the top, just to show you how to do that. The fourth ability has been replaced with Gloom. The reason for that, of course, like I said, is that Maraluna needs to stay alive. Plus, the CC is very good. One of the things that a lot of people forget is that slow is actually making them able to only hit you once every second each, but there is a lot of enemies. Face tanking tends to not be very good if you have the problem of a lot of enemies with full fire rate. This is why Nova, if you have a Speechba, is very dangerous because they have increased fire rate. But I won't get too far into another frame. But yes, welcome to the build. And I will show it in 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! I have worked on this build for 2 years, strictly due to the fact that I had to adjust for each and every bug fix. There has been bug fixes over and over again, but truly I believe that this build right here is extremely good. And you might be thinking, oh, what about, why do you have like so much armor? I will show you that right now. 2 Talforge Blues, 2 Talforge Reds, and 1 Talforge Yellow. Specifically, it's critical damage, critical chance for secondaries to give it just that little bit of and then we got the armor, and the way that armor works is that it does have a damage reduction, but it's also a diminishing curve. So in actuality, 2 Talforge Blues are just fine. When it comes to Talforge Yellow, keep in mind, you do have to spam your abilities a lot, but you don't have to spam very expensive abilities. Because of this, all you need is a Talforge Yellow, and the Talforge Yellow will be able to grant you the boost in energy that you need. And because of that, you will have no energy problems as long as you make sure you are continuously fighting. Because just a little bit of energy can get boosted enough for you to basically keep Gloom up forever as long as you keep killing. And remember, it is based on your power to have the knowledge to build a good weapon. Good luck with that. 2 years. I have been working at this for 2 years. I'm so glad I get to finish it. And if you want to know why I basically fight so hard, essentially, YARELI has basically exposed me to the thing that drives me, because she basically has the ability to produce that thing for me very, very much. And very, very potent. And I hope it gives you nightmares, because I would like to see you in them. But don't worry, if you're watching my content, I know you're into it. I hope it was entertaining.